Life and death, race, politics. Other than that, not a lot really happening tonight. It's the Fox 4 with Ben Ferguson, radio talk show host, political contributor.
We got just a few stories tonight, right?
Yeah, just a few in the comment, and it's all going to be done in four-ish.
Let's do it.
Yeah. All right, Ben, thanks for being here. Let's talk about the shooting in Cincinnati. Body camera video released today. Officer charged with murder. However you feel about it, I think it's another huge instance. Shows the need for body cameras, don't you?
There's no reason why every police department in this country should not be putting these on every single officer that's on the streets now. It is obvious that these cameras show the real story of what happened, and then you can let a jury decide while seeing exactly what happened. He was charged with this murder. The jury is going to look at this and everything around it, but it looks like this camera shows a very different story from what the police officer initially told in his report, which was he was dragged down the street. And so from the federal government standpoint, Washington, if you want to do something that everyone's going to like, you should put the funding out there for these body cameras. In the grand scheme of things, it's totally worth it, and it's not that expensive, and there should be no more delays. They obviously work, and they tell the side of the story that everyone needs to see.
And police like them too, generally. Police unions like them because the good cops get backed up by the cameras. Hey, without
if you've got nothing to hide, if you're a good police officer, this is a camera that's going to help you. I look at Ferguson. We would have probably not had the same outrage in Ferguson if there was a body camera showing what the witnesses ultimately said happened there, and we wouldn't have had the riots and probably everything else because we would have seen exactly what happened in that squad car.
And quickly, without the body camera here, does this officer ever get charged?
I think it would be very hard for him to get charged without this body camera because his story ultimately was going to trump a dead man's story, and it usually does almost every time unless there's a lot of witnesses or someone with another cell phone.
I want to move it along, but I have one other question. Is murder charge the right charge here, do you think, based on what you've seen?
Based on what I've seen here, I think the jury is going to be able to deal with that murder charge. I don't know if that was the right charge per se, but ultimately the jury is going to get to decide, and they got a lot of evidence to look at, and I think that's the best part about it.
All right, transition to politics. Fox has changed its plan for the Republican debate next Thursday. It was going to be just the top 10 candidates. Now Fox is going to kind of have an undercard in the main event. Heavyweights, Trump, Bush, Cruz, Perry, et al. Go at 8 p.m. Texas time. Bobby Jindal, Carly Fiorina, other lightweights go at it at 4 in the afternoon. Any intrigue about the change? Why do you think Fox made the change?
Two reasons. One, you had a lot of candidates that I think are legitimate candidates that were really feeling like they were about to be left off the stage, and they were going to take a lot of heat for that. The other thing is, I think they didn't want Donald Trump in the debate to turn it into a circus, and I think they wanted to have this where, you know what, there's other people here that are very close to that top 10. We need to somehow figure out how to change this, and I think that's exactly why we're seeing this. And ultimately, if you were excluded, you were going to be outside this debate raising absolute holy you-know-what and take away from the actual debate. So I think this keeps a decorum and allows everybody a chance early on to get their time in front of the cameras and in front of the voters.
They're on at 4 p.m. That's kind of like speaking at noon at the convention.
But think about all the zingers you can throw at Donald Trump at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Hey, if he didn't have the history, quickly about Rick Perry, if he didn't have the history, Rick Perry seems to look pretty good right now, but can he get past the oops moment?
Look, I think if you look at how well he's run his campaign this time compared to last time, there's no doubt that he is a candidate that everyone around the country should at least be looking at and listening to what he's saying. The question is, can you overlook the one time you may have heard of him, which was when I'm going to close down 3 sections of government? I can't remember what they are. You know, if you're New Hampshire, Iowa, it's hard to forget that one moment if you haven't seen him as a governor like we have in Texas.
All right, lastly, you told me you wanted to talk about the outrage over the African lion hunt. I have a feeling where you wanted to go.
Well, there's two things on this. One, it's amazing the world and the outrage over this. I'm not saying that it's not warranted, but let's put it in perspective. You have a story that broke on Planned Parenthood, which gets hundreds of millions of dollars in taxpayers' money every year, that was seen on video negotiating the price of literally aborted babies, selling them for research. Which one is really something that we should be more shocked about? A lion that was shot, or babies that are being sold basically on the black market to the highest bidder, and a woman saying, with government dollars, let's not forget that, I want enough money to buy a Lamborghini. I think we should be more outraged about the young children and not so much about a lion.
All right, got you.
And now people can tweet at me and tell me I'm a horrible person.
You're not. I think we all love animals, and we get, I guess, where you're coming from. Ben, thank you. Now, everybody watching who wants to tweet Ben and get after him, you can do it right now. Follow him on Twitter at Ben Ferguson Show. Thanks, Ben.